The Athens Rock Lobsters rose from their slumber this morning, undefeated once again, but they did so on enemy territory. Will the Dashers be able to put a 1 in the Athens L column, or will the Rock Lobsters keep on rocking without missing any notes? Good evening, Crustacean Nation, and welcome to your review of the David S. Palmer Arena in Danville, Illinois, where Dashers hockey takes on your Athens Rock Lobsters. Matty and Rad bringing you all the action live here on the Athens Rock Lobster Network. Thank you so much for tuning in, and now it's time for the Piedmont Athens Regional Pregame Show. It was a tale of two games last weekend for the Rock Lobsters against the Blue Ridge Bobcats. You might have thought that the two teams were evenly matched, given that Game 1 of that series took an overtime goal from Case and Gallant to secure a victory. However, the good guys would follow up exhilaration with domination, as we could see the Rock Lobsters getting ready to make their way onto the ice. A 10-2 win to close out affairs in Withville, Virginia last weekend. It was Orca Weisblatt who had a whale of a game with a 5-point tally in that one, 2 goals and 3 assists. We're going to have a compilation of every single goal scored in that game later on in the broadcast. But until then, it's time for our Impact Players to Watch, brought to you by FanSaves. First up for Dashers hockey, they lost their 2 opening games in Watertown, New York, but now they are on their home ice, and there was someone who shined brightly against the Wolves and has spent a large portion of his career shining in the Fed. Justin Browsen is coming off back-to-back 2-point games, and he has 365 games of FPHL experience and has scored 369 points in his Fed career. He knows this building well. He was a star player for the Dashers in their last run in this league. He was a 40-goal scorer in 2015-16. As for your Rock Lobsters, we're keeping a special eye on the Swedish center, Filip Virgili. He has been a tremendous playmaker already this season, especially last weekend against Blue Ridge. He's coming off a 1-goal, 5-assist series against the Bobcats. He has been a big part of the explosion of Case and Gallant. That has been a fun partnership to watch, and we'll actually get to hear from Gallant later on his start to the year. Download FanSaves now and follow the Athens Rock Lobsters to unlock exclusive fan deals throughout the season. We turn our attention to the starting 5, Coach Marty's starting lineup, brought to you by Akins Ford. Not many surprises. This top 5 of Garrett Milan at center, Orca Weisblatt and Malik Johnson on the wings, a deep pairing of Riley Robertson and Carter Shinkarik, and Jack Bostedt starting between the pipes. Akins Ford, the biggest Ford dealership in Georgia. But most importantly, the best. According to the Piedmont Athens Regional Injury Report, Josh Rosenzweig did not travel on this trip as he is still nursing a shoulder injury. He's day-to-day, and I've been told we are also unlikely to see Cole McKechnie this weekend. Piedmont Athens Regional, real change lives here. Of course, that's always subject to change because I'm hearing through my play-by-play adversary, if you will, in Danville, Devin Dobeck, that Rosenzweig has been listed as starting in the starting lineup on the stat sheet, but to my knowledge, he did not travel with the team. So we'll try to keep you updated on who will be starting in between the pipes in case it is not Jack Bostedt. Rock Lobster fans, it's not too late to own a piece of hockey history. Head on over to fans.winwithdash.com and search the Athens Rock Lobsters, or head on over to the Athens Rock Lobster Facebook page to learn how you can bid on autographed collectibles that you can't find anywhere else. Don't miss out on your chance to win an autographed training camp t-shirt. That auction ends Sunday at 6 p.m. Rock Lobsters have made their way to the ice. Looks like they're getting ready for the home team to play their part. Opening home game of the season for Dashers hockey here at David S. Palmer Arena. Long history of hockey in this arena. It's the home of the Eastern Illinois Panthers hockey team. It was home to the original Danville Dashers from 1981 to 1986 in the AAHL before the Dashers came back again from 2011 to 2020 in the FPHL. Danville's first season back in the Fed, and here comes the show. to welcome the players to the ice. See if we can get you some volume over there in Danville so you could take part of this opening.
A game in which they fell apart in the final 4 minutes. A 1-0 lead started for Watertown, and Danville.
You hear my colleague Devin Dobick over there in Danville getting his start in the FPHL, as am I. We'll hear from that broadcast a little bit later, getting ready for the national anthem and for puck drop here in this one, the first ever meeting between the Rock Lobsters and Dashers Hockey Club. At the helm for the Rock Lobsters, as you know, head coach Steve Martinson, a 14-year playing career in the NHL, the AHL, the IHL, and the CHL, now up to 1,127 pro coaching wins, the most by a U.S.-born pro coach. A lot to be excited for with Martinson at the helm. He's missed playoffs only twice, has 10 titles to his name. Behind the bench, on the other side of center ice, will be A.J. Tesoriero, a 34-year-old veteran of the Fed, having played 7 years for 283 games and scoring 223 total points. Played 5 seasons in Danville. His last season playing was as a player coach for the Dashers, native of Boulder, Colorado. Taking a look at this roster, there's a couple interesting characters. We've already touched on Justin Browsen, someone who has scored more than 350 points in the FPHL. Nick Gulo is someone who also has experience playing in Danville with Vermilion County Bobcats in Danville 5 years ago. He was the captain for the Elmira Mammoth in 2022-23, where he had his best season. 10 goals, 27 assists. As for the Rock Lobsters, no doubt a few members of this team that are going to be ones to look out for. Carter Shinkarik, Garrett Milan, and Kaysen Gallant are in a 3-way tie atop the Fed point standings with 9. And Shinkarik has been the playmaker. It was interesting, having talked to head coach Steve Martinson, he talked about a conversation that he had with Shinkarik before the season started, and he said that I think that you can be a scoring leader in this league from the defense position. And right now, Carter Shinkarik in a tie for that for selection in the 2024 FPHL expansion draft. He's already a former scoring leader in 2020-21. Looks like we're getting ready for the national anthem. We'll send it over to Devin Dobeck in Danville. somber version of Taps being played. The end of the anthem commemorating our great nation, and that means that we are a step closer to puck drop here. The first ever meeting between the Rock Lobsters and Dashers hockey. Dashers coming off a tough weekend against the Watertown Wolves last weekend. Of course, the Athens Rock Lobsters still undefeated at 4-0. Really, it's 3-1-0 because the Rock Lobsters have 11 points in the FPHL. An overtime win is good for 2 points, while a regulation win is good for 3. Before we get started, a reminder that this broadcast of the Athens Rock Lobsters is brought to you by Piedmont Athens Real Change Agents Ford. Agents Ford is the largest Ford dealership in Georgia. If they don't trust anyone, why not trust the biggest and the best? Stanfield Air System. We spent the last 50 years preparing Athens HVAC units. First American Bank. We specialize in you. And Terrapin Beer Company. Do the right thing, always. The time for practice, the time for preparation is over as these two teams look to square off against one another. Special face-off here. Carter Shinkarik wearing the C. So this is a news update here that I'm just learning for the first time. Carter Shinkarik will be wearing the C this season. Interestingly enough, I believe it was Garrett Milan was in the running to be the captain this year, but due to league rules was unable to do so because he is technically also a part of the coaching staff. You cannot be captain and a coach for the team. On the other side was Justin Browsen. He'll be the oldest player on the ice tonight at 35 years old. Once again, this starting five for the Rock Lobsters. Carter Shinkarik, Riley Robertson, the D pair. Garrett Milan in the center of Malik Johnson and Orca Weisblatt. Jack Bostet in net. For the Dashers, Jacob Gagnon, Brandon Stoichevsky, Ricky Regala, Nikolai Salov, Justin Browsen, and in between the pipes, Parker Rutherford. And we are underway here. Quickly up the left wing was Garrett Milan. He dumps it in behind the net of Rutherford. Dashers trying to get something going the other way. Quick breaks, wrist shot, and a stop made by Bostet. Already back and forth as Orca Weisblatt gets dispossessed. Puck taken into the neutral zone. Garrett Milan tries to take a step into his man, but his man instead takes a step into him. Looks like there was some contact at the blue line, so no icing on this call. Shot from the blue line gets blocked on the effort from Murray. Breakaway opportunity here, and a wrister is wide from Thomas Murphy. Malik Johnson with a great defensive play here, and here come the Rock Lobsters. Garrett Milan pulls it back. And another goal for Garrett Milan. Has been so good at scoring early on in games this year. And he's off the mark once again here against the Dashers Hockey Club. It's Rock Lobsters 1, Dashers 0 early on in this Friday night game. Garrett Milan once again wasting no time in a series opener. It was the very first game of the season against Monroe where he scored 2 in the opening 3 minutes. Garrett Milan with his 5th of the year. That puts him on 10 points. That puts him also atop the FPHL scoring stats. That one almost snuck between the legs of Rutherford. Troy Murray lets one loose from the blue line. And that one skips past Kolatarsi. He'll have to go fetch. Chance for Danville to collect their thoughts here. It's been a struggle to start this year for the Dashers. Of course, only 2 games into their season while the Rock Lobsters are 4. That goal still has not been recorded yet on the score centers. We have an icing call here. It'll be sent back up the ice. So trying to get you the exact timing of that Garrett Milan goal that puts the Rock Lobsters up 1-0. Line here of Picard, Alden, and Portillo. Justin Portillo, knowing Danville well. Here he is on the puck. With his back to the Danville net, able to turn out of there. His pass out of there, though, gets intercepted. Dumped into the zone by Colton Wyzak. Wyzak, a 22-year-old D from St. Thomas, Ontario. His first year of pro hockey comes in 2024 in Danville. Already an electric start here for the Rock Lobsters. Took less than 2 minutes to score their opener. Matt Garcia has plenty of time, plenty of space, tries to skip it up to Alden. Jack Bostet leaves it for Ocean Weisblatt. First game of the year for Ocean Weisblatt. Of course, we're very familiar with his brother Orca. Here come the Rock Lobsters once again with speed, but Orca Weisblatt, his effort gets frozen by Rutherford. Nice to see the 2 brothers on the ice at the same time. Orca Weisblatt having no issues having his presence be felt in the early going. Offensive zone faceoff, Garrett Milan going up against Nick Gulo. A couple of veterans squaring off on the faceoff. Carter Shinkarik gets up the boards. Behind him is Orca Weisblatt, tries to send it back up to him. Intercepted. Really good passing play in the Danville zone. Orca Weisblatt, his shot gets blocked. Milan, no offside there. Malik Johnson in the corner. Back to the blue line, Shinkarik. Back into that left-hand corner. Puck skips right off the corner and into the slot, but no one was there to bury it. Lack of offensive fluidity so far from the Dashers. Malik Johnson tips it in. Yosuke Jumanji on the puck. An ice hockey player from Japan. You don't get to say that every day. Played pro last year in the 4th tier of German hockey where he scored 10 goals, assisted 8. A little tumble there from Troy Murray. And luckily, Joe Kolatarsi is there to sweep things up, make sure that a Dasher is not able to cause some trouble. Right now, the Rock Lobsters having a very easy time entering the zone. Kolatarsi, Virgili with a wrister. That one forced a save out of Rutherford. into the neutral zone and then back into the Rock Lobsters defensive zone goes the puck. Right now, the Dashers are being forced to play a lot of hockey in their own end of the ice. Troy Murray with a nifty move there, able to get it up the right-hand boards. Good steal here at center ice. It's Hunter Alden. Picard drifts a leg to make sure he stays on side. That one takes a weird bounce off the corner. Here comes Alden again, thinking about the wrister. Elects for something different. Shot from the point from Movali. Family affair today for Justin Movali. His cousin, Ricky Regala, playing and suiting up for the Dashers today. Looks like Justin Portillo is reminding this Dashers team just what he can do. And being Portillo is going to be sent into the penalty box for his extracurriculars. So the Rock Lobsters head to the Leslie Jones Law penalty kill. Carter Shinkarik tries to state his case for his teammate, but that will be a lost cause. And the penalty kill was something that was really, really working for the Rock Lobsters in their last game, that 10-2 win against the Blue Ridge Bobcats. As a matter of fact, they scored a shorthanded goal on a breakaway through Joe Colatarsi. Looks like we might have a timeout here if I were to guess. Looks like that will be the case. That gives us another chance to thank our sponsors. Of course, this broadcast of the Athens Rock Lobsters is brought to you by Beacon Ford is the largest Ford dealership in Georgia. If you're going to trust anyone, why not trust the biggest and the best? Stanfield Air System, we spent the last 50 years fulfilling your HVAC needs. First American Bank and Trust, we specialize in you. And Terrapin Beer Company, do the right thing always. So Justin Portillo takes his spot in the penalty box as we head to the Leslie Jones Law penalty kill. Going to be interesting to hear to see if the special teams of the Rock Lobsters looked just as good as they did in their last game. And when we say that, we're really not talking about the power play. We're talking about more so the penalty kill was very, very good in that 10-2 win. Trying to get ready here for the green light out of the media timeout. A big opportunity here with 14:27 left in the first period. Justin Portillo in the box for 2 minutes as the Dashers try to level this one at 1. Clarifying that penalty. And it's going to be a 4-minute penalty for Portillo. So it must be a high stick that caused some blood. That's usually what causes the 4-minute. So work to do on the Leslie Jones penalty kill. And here we go. And, of course, that skips past Jacob Gagnon's stick. Gagnon in his first year of FPHL hockey. Sloppy puck handling right now from the Dashers as they can't even really get the puck over the neutral zone right now. Here they go, third time's a charm. Over the blue line they go. Into the corner. Riley Robertson able to backhand it up the corner. Big opportunity, but a mishandle there from Stoichevsky. Brandon Stoichevsky had a solid year last year with the Danbury hat tricks, 14 goals, 13 assists in 45 games. Leading playmaker on the team right now, leads the team with 4 assists, 2 back-to-back 2-assist games. 3 minutes left on the penalty kill. Really good backhand pass, but no one was there to able to complete the play. Here comes Orca Weisblatt with speed. Over the blue line. Hunter Alden, back-to-back, a little 1-2, and no goal. That one's off the crossbar. But what a stellar play that came on the penalty kill for the Rock Lobsters. Orca Weisblatt so close to his 4th of the season, had 2 in his last game. He has to make sure his defensive abilities are up to task as well, as Jack Bostet is able to make the freeze here. So in a minute and a half and 3 seconds, shedded off this Justin Portillo penalty. Jack Bostet here in his 3rd game as an Athens Rock Lobster has done a great job. 4 goals through those 2 games conceded. Carter Shinkarik pirouettes around and clears out the puck. About 2 minutes to go, so it's about a regular power play now for the Dashers. That one skips off the back of the net. A new Dashers team, a young Dashers team. Large disparity between the veterans of this Dasher team and their younger rookies who are just experiencing their first year of pro hockey, as another clearance has to be handled and then left by Rutherford. That clearance takes the deflection down. Chris Hunt tries to take it past Connor Mullins, but Mullins was wise to it. Speed over the blue line. Shot from Yegor Kabatiev. Forced the blocker save from Bostet. Gutsy play from Rutherford. Doesn't pay off. As a matter of fact, it pays off almost for the Rock Lobsters. Another shot that hits the ironwork, this time from Chris Hunt. So the more likely scorers on this Danville power play have been the Rock Lobsters. They've struck iron twice through Orca Weisblatt and now Chris Hunt. Less than a minute to go on this penalty kill. Really good pass into the slot. And that one is just past the net of Bostet. Down into the face-off circle. Nick Gulo was down low with a couple great opportunities. And here we go. 3 on each side, mixing it up. Great height disparity there between Troy Murray and Nick Gulo. Nick Gulo standing at 5'6", but not backing down a bit. Looks like a couple will sit. Almost looked like for each team. I thought Malik Johnson might have been heading his way into the box, but Justin Browson is going to give this a no. It looks like Chris Hunt is indeed in the Rock Lobsters penalty box. So 4 on 3 for 34 seconds. Still a 1-0 game in this one, thanks to another early goal from Garrett Milan. .11:01 left in this first period. Face-off won by Danville. Shot from the blue line. A wrister, that must have been stopped either by Shinkarik or Bostet. big opportunity for Stoichevsky for what originally looked like an open net. That one right into the midsection of Boston. Much easier save to make. And that will stop the clock at 10:28. Justin Portillo now out of the penalty box. Chris Hunt and Justin Browsen still in there. Not seeing those penalties reflected on the scoreboard, but both players in the box. Now, it looks like both players or both teams are skating five-a-side right now. So they must be considering that a fighting penalty of some sort. Kaysen Gallant trying to extend his scoring streak. Shot from the line. Turnaround shot from Philip Virgili, saved by Rutherford. Joust at the line. Garcia trying to pin the Dashers back, as is Virgili, before it is eventually cleared out. Garcia gets there first, though. Movali dumps it in. Rock Lobsters skating with a lot of speed. That's what Virgili does best. A couple of great moves on the stick handles. Was looking for a pass on the other side of Rutherford's net, but no one was there. Kaysen Gallant making life difficult for Colton Wyzak. Gallant takes the pass that was rifled past him. Slap shot from Virgili. Shinkarik unable to backhand it back towards Rutherford's net. Here comes Virgili once again. A wrister and a save from Rutherford. Much better goaltending here from the Dashers after letting up the early goal. And that will cause a stoppage in play. With the Athens Rock Lobsters off to an undefeated start, now's the time to lock in your loyalty. Secure your season tickets and save big compared to single-game prices, plus enjoy exclusive benefits like early entry and meet and greets with the team. Do not miss a moment. Get your season ticket today. For more, visit rocklobstershockey.com/season tickets. Chance for us here to thank some more sponsors. And apologies as I'm learning that the sponsor segment has music that's a little bit too loud, so unfortunately you're not able to hear all the great things that we're saying about them. Hopefully the next time I bring up that ad read, I'm going to be able to turn down that volume a good bit. But a chance for us to thank Athens Area Urology. You're in good hands with Athens Area Urology. Plumber Pro, Hospitality South, Athens Coca-Cola Bottling Company, the home of the Rock Lobsters Classic City Flats, Harmon Enterprises, and Roto-Rooter. So Hunt in the box for the Rock Lobsters. Browsen in the box for the Dashers. Both teams skating 5 apiece. Confirmation, the Rock Lobsters' goal from Garrett Milan was within the first minute. 56 seconds is all it took for him to get the scoring started here in Danville. Shinkarik, a couple of great passes, leads to another wrister from Milan and a great save, but it's end up being put in by the Rock Lobsters. It looks like it's being waved off, though. Wonder if they're going to have to try and take a look at this one. Looks like it'll just be an offensive zone faceoff. Unfortunately for this top line, who's really firing on all cylinders right now, Garrett Milan in the middle of Malik Johnson and Orca Weisblatt. Weisblatt back to the blue line. Riley Robertson doesn't get all that he wants on that one, ends up being intercepted by Brendan Stoichevsky. Stoichevsky has Gulo to his right, almost a deflection from Stoichevsky on that pass from the right side. But here comes Garrett Milan. Garrett Milan like a race car. Shinkarik to his left, looking for a great puck onto the other side of the ice, looking for Orca Weisblatt. Malik Johnson is found. He tries to just shift it in between the 5-hole. Garrett Milan follows up with a shot. Orca Weisblatt gathers. Really good pass to Robertson, who shifts it up the ice for Johnson. And a chance for Jensen Bayer to first get rocked by Orca Weisblatt. His clearance only goes as far as Shinkarik. Weisblatt behind the net, gets pinned to the boards, unable to get to the puck. But Garrett Milan almost got to that one. Shinkarik, really quick pass. Malik Johnson didn't know anything about it, was into his skates as he was going off for the line change. Garrett Milan is like a V8 engine. He looks for the pass to his right. Troy Murray, the D-man, getting involved in a scrum in the corner. The Rock Lobsters have not let up off the gas at all here in the early going. Now with less than a half of a period to play in the first here at the David S. Palmer Arena. According to the score sheet, the Justin Portillo penalty was given as a 2-minute minor for cross-checking, but he was in the box for 4 minutes. Kolatarsi able to prevent the run onto the puck. Better here from the Dashers as a shot from Trey Fisher is wide of the target. Portillo able to get it in. Linesman almost gets caught up in between the puck and Alden. Good step up there from Ocean Weisblatt. Ocean Weisblatt, his first action of 2024. And he's been physical thus far, really trying to get a feel for the game. It's tough when you haven't played for so long. Puck dumped into the corner. The cousin of Justin Mavali, Ricky Regala, able to keep the puck for long enough. But the Dashers really not getting much of a touch for the puck in this first period. Dumped in, and that'll be an icing call. So I'm going to try to do this ad read one more time, and hopefully I'll be able to shift the volume at the same time while I do it. So this broadcast of the Athens Rock Lobsters is brought to you by Piedmont Athens Regional. Real change lives here. Aikens Ford. Aikens Ford is the largest Ford dealership, but actually we're back into play here, so we'll get back to that later. Puck cleared up the near boards. Going over to play fetch is Colton Wyzak. Wyzak behind the net. Looking for an option. Gets chased by Gallant. Gallant wins the puck. Took some time for him to find it. Chris Hunt also having some trouble tracking it down. He takes a push up high from Lester Brown. And an icing on the other side of the ice now. Offensive zone face-off for the Rock Lobsters. Actually, looks like we'll do it here at center ice. Lester Brown against Garrett Milan. Milan wins the draw easily. Up the right side for Orca Weisblatt, but way offside here is going to be Malik Johnson, and that'll prompt another whistle blow. Little zoom in here on the officials as we'll do a face-off right in front of the Dashers bench. You've got to like the play from this first line. A little bit of commentator's curse here as a breakaway chance is stopped by Bostedt. Bostedt stands tall and stands strong, is able to stop Lester Brown from scoring his third of 2024. 6 minutes, 3 seconds left in the first period. Rock Lobsters have the bragging rights thus far in the opening 20 thanks to a goal from Garrett Milan that took just 50 seconds to score. Virgili wins the draw. The Rock Lobsters have been dominant in the face-off circle thus far. Had a play that was whistled down for offside. Was trying to make sure that it wasn't penalty. Was pretty positive that it was not. Philip Virgili somewhat wins the draw, but wins it for Danville as blasting out of the circle was Lester Brown. Chris Hunt takes the puck with him but ends up losing it. Trying the blast from far away is Kolatarsi. Tries to poke check that puck out of the grasp of Yegor Kabatiev. Here comes Kabatiev again. His shot does not trouble Bostet. Chris Hunt. Good play with the hands. Wrister. Parker Rutherford was even to it. Chris Hunt again. Seeing the puck a lot here. Tries the tight angle wrister. Carter Shinkarik takes the quick pass from Riley Robertson. Orca Weisblatt's going to be able to get there first. Garrett Milan wheels around. Throws on the emergency brake. Turns around. Shifts the puck back for Shinkarik. Right into the glove of Rutherford. Much better fluidity of play at this point of the period from Danville, but the Rock Lobsters remain in the lead. This broadcast of the Athens Rock Lobsters is brought to you by Piedmont Athens Regional. Real change lives here. Akins Ford. Akins Ford is the largest Ford dealership in Georgia. If you're going to trust anyone, why not trust the biggest and the best? Stanfield Air Systems. We've spent the last 50 years fulfilling Athens' HVAC needs. First American Bank and Trust, we specialize in you. And Terrapin Beer Company, do the right thing, always. Big night tomorrow in more ways than one for the Athens Rock Lobsters. You can join us tomorrow at Wild Rumpus for your chance to win awesome prizes. The parade kicks off on West Hancock Avenue and winds through downtown Athens, ending with a massive street party on West Washington Street. Find our booth across from Ding Tea by Athens First United Methodist Church. Do not miss the fun. We'll see you there. Of course, also, we got a game tomorrow, so make sure you're at home to catch us against Dashers Hockey once again at 8:05 Eastern Time. Garrett Milan has been very simple with the faceoff, and it's really working to his favor. Almost causes another goal for him, and he looks down onto the ice knowing that he could have added on to the early pain for the Dashers, but still within striking distance are the team from Danville, Illinois. Physical on the faceoff. Orca Weisblatt gets taken down quickly, back up to his feet, has the puck in his carom. Shinkarik from distance, deflection from Milan. Shinkarik has to win a foot race here. It's dumped into the zone by Yosuke Jumanji. Gathering some momentum from their own half of the ice. Malik Johnson into the path of Orca Weisblatt. Malik Johnson tries to make the block on the clearance, pin his body against the boards. Johnson, Weisblatt, back to Shinkarik. Into the corner, Weisblatt. Tight angle shot. Easy save for Rutherford to make. Orca Weisblatt taken down in the corner. Whistle's going to be stopped. Or whistle's going to be blown, stopping the play. And Orca Weisblatt's going to be taken to the box. Did not look like he did much to initiate there, but so it'll be another power play for the Dashers. That leads us to another Leslie Jones Law penalty kill. And an early clearance up the ice. Really has been impossible for the Dashers to get set on their power play in the early going. Let's see if they can do so here. The Rock Lobsters have just done a really good job of staying uniform through their four. Bostet loses sight of the puck. Good poke there from Kolatarsi. Dashers end up shooting themselves in the foot. Minute 20 left to go on Orca Weisblatt's penalty. See if we can get you an answer on what exactly that penalty was. Nothing happening yet on the stat sheet. And we've got ourselves an offside call. So once again, the Dashers unable really to either get set or to move with fluidity into their offensive zone. Quick poke check from Riley Robertson. Settles right down in front of the 6'6" D-man. Clearance turn shot on net against Rutherford. The Dashers still unable to make the most of this man advantage. Here comes Virgili trying to twist a knife with 30 seconds left to go in this Rock Lobster penalty kill. Good move there from Lester Brown, takes it over. Attempts the wrister, was end up being more of a floater. And here comes a one-on-one. Here comes the two-on-one, actually. Shinkarik gets set with a slapper. What a great save from Rutherford. It needed to be. The Rock Lobsters looking for their second straight game with a shorthanded goal. Carter Shinkarik with a rocket that forced a stop out of Parker Rutherford. And now the penalty kill over for the Rock Lobsters. So we're back to even strength. Losing out on the puck there is Nikolai Salov. That's kind of been the nature of the evening thus far for the Dashers. Minute 10 to go in this first period. Stay tuned. During the intermission, we had our weekly interview with Coach Steve Martinson. Had a chance to go to the practice rink and talk with him about the two games to come this weekend. Troy Murray knew that the run of Garrett Milan was charging onto the net, but his pass gets intercepted. Puck into the corner. Two Rock Lobsters there, just one Dasher, so they're able to win that battle. Ocean Weisblatt with a great spinning pass. Puck doesn't quite settle for Garrett Milan. Justin Portillo letting Ricky Regala know that he's there. Ten seconds left. Whiff on the shot from Colton Wyzak. Still an opportunity here, 3 seconds. Puck goes into the slot. Not being able to get the shot off is Yosuke Jumanji, and that does it for action in the first. So we go into the first intermission with the Rock Lobsters up 1-0. It took just 56 seconds for Athens to get started. Garrett Milan with yet another early goal, his 5th of the year. And on the assist was Orca Weisblatt, his 4th helper of the year. And despite that, it was all the Rock Lobsters after that. Really, Danville having a tough time being fluid in their offense at all. And they spent a lot of time defending. But with that being the case, they'll be happy to go into the tunnel down just 1 goal. Steve Martinson was a man that had a lot to be happy about when I talked to him during practice on Wednesday afternoon, and I had a chance to sit down with him, and he told me about this weekend and all the news that was upcoming for the Athens Rock Lobsters. Let's see what he had to say. Matt Tienrad, voice of the Rock Lobsters, once again joined by Athens head coach Steve Martinson. Coach Marty, you go into this upcoming weekend with more points than anyone else in the FPHL. What is the feeling? Is this where you thought this team would be early on?
Well, I mean, yeah, I thought we would win. You know, I was pretty sure we were going to win a lot of games. The big thing is I don't really know the other teams. So, you know, I was following Monroe a little bit and a couple of the teams in our division, but I didn't know a lot of the players. So I just really concerned about our team and making sure that we can put the best team out that the cap allows.
Casey Gallant, 6 goals in the team's opening 4 games. It's only his 2nd pro season, and his first one was in Austria. I guess my question is, where'd you find this guy?
Well, he was actually referred to me from one of my best players that I've ever had, Mark Wolf out of Calgary, and he called me about him and gave me the referral. And then when I talked to Casey, I looked at his highlight tape, and you could see he had great skill and great hands, and the league that he played in, I'd watched a lot because my son played in it. So I knew it was a good league, and did I think he was going to come out and score 6 goals? No. But am I surprised? No, I'm not surprised either. When you watch him score in practice, he scores all the time.
We talked the other day about Carter Shinkarik, and you had told me a conversation that you had had with him where you said, hey, I think you could be a scoring leader as a D-man in this league. Going into this weekend's game, he's atop the FPHL scoring ranks with 9 points. What is it that makes Shanks such a good playmaker from the line?
Well, the style that we play, you got to have defensemen that can play an offensive game the way I like to play. So you got to have people that are capable of doing it. And he's capable of doing it. He's got great skills, and he's a really good skater. And he can play a lot too. So he just fits our style. And then he's got a lot of skill and puck possession. He's a smart guy. He jumps up in the play. He's always up in the play, but that's what I want him. I want him up in the play all the time. We like to have 4 guys attacking and 1 safety van.
We've been blessed with great goalie play early on in the season, and we've seen all 3 goalies play now: Rosenzweig, Bostedt, and Stahl. First, is there any injury update with Rosie, and do you have a difficult decision to make this weekend if he is healthy?
Well, he's not going to be. It's not a difficult decision because he's cleared. He may be cleared for Saturday, but he's coming off an injury that I'm not going to risk it. So,
right.
No, I mean, it's not a difficult decision. I mean, the following weekend, then, but I'm just waiting till he's 100%. We don't want to have him come back too early. And then the other thing is we have a salary cap and, roster issues. So, we just can't, once we put a guy in the IR, I just can't activate him just the second that he's available. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. So he'll probably stay there through the weekend.
What about Cole McKechnie? Is there any update for him?
Same thing. I mean, we've got, he's got a sprained shoulder, and he's just day-to-day. But I don't anticipate taking anybody off the IR this weekend.
10 goals in the team's last game. That's exactly what Rock Lobster fans like to see. Where does that rank in your wins as a head coach? Has there been higher scoring games for you?
Probably over the years. I mean, but 10 is pretty high.
Yeah.
It's pretty high, and I'm not taking anything away from our team, but their goaltending was really bad after they pulled their starter, and we were just seemed to be scoring at will. But we had the puck a lot, and we were getting quality shots. So I mean, was I surprised? No, but it's we got a lot of offensive players.
We talked a little bit about Jack Bostet. What did you think about the first couple of games for Brandon Picard and how he played against Blue Ridge?
Well, Brandon's been a point-of-game guy in the league, and the way he played and the way he looked, I mean, he looks like a point-of-game guy. And he didn't get to practice at all with the team. He just rolled into town, got on the bus, and showed up at the hotel the night before. So I like his skill level. He's a good skater, and he should score a lot of goals this year too.
I've been really impressed with Philip Virgili. He's looked like such a tremendous playmaker on that second line, and his chemistry with Kaysen Gallant has really paid off so many times already this season. How do you view his role and his kind of player profile?
Well, so one of the things that I always talk about is if your leaders play the game right, everybody else has to follow in place. So if your leaders, the more complete your leaders are and your top players, the more complete the rest of the guys have to be. So he's just that kind of good overall, really good overall player. He does everything. He hits, he battles, he's really competitive. And that's something that you can try to promote that with players, and we always try to do, like I'm always teasing the guys in practice, and you just said it, first line, second line. Well, I don't say that. I let the players, I'm like, okay, who's first line today? And you're looking for more than one line to say we are.
Yeah.
So we try to make it, we keep scoring practice on drills, and I'm probably the worst instigator of chiding guys and giving guys a hard time, and which line is which. But the key to winning in the playoffs is depth, because you could have injuries, especially when you're playing in leagues that don't allow you to carry a lot of players. So injuries can be a huge factor in the playoffs, so you want to have as many go-to guys as you can.
Well, maybe what people might view as the first line, your starting line.
Yeah. No, that's okay. That's okay. They view I call them the money line because they wear green all the time. So, on paper, that's two guys that play together in Pensacola. They didn't play together last year, but they're well aware of each other's play, and Garrett's led that team in scoring a couple of years, and Johns has always been a very popular, all-around, gritty, entertaining player. So that line on paper is, you saw some of the goals that they scored were high-speed, skilled plays.
Well, even Orca, had a very, short time in Pensacola himself. He had 4 games there last year, and he knows both of those guys. What about the chemistry of that line right now? Because now, after that last series, you have Orca having a 5-point game. Malik's off and running now. Millsy has been Millsy since the beginning. What has sort of gelled, or what needed to gel at the beginning of the season for those 3 guys?
Well, so Orca and Johns never got to camp until 3 days
Right.
before we left. And then Orca was hurt that week. So those guys never played together until they never suited up together in practice as a line until they played that game Friday night. So, the big difference now is they've been practicing together and they're starting to get to know each other. And Orca was there all year. He just broke his ankle. So he was practicing later in the season and stuff. So, like I said, on paper they have everything, and they're you got guys that they're all tough.
Yeah.
They all hit, and Garrett might not be the tallest guy, but he's built like a brick. He's strong as an ox,
And he bounces off everything.
And he's a tough guy. So, they got everything they need. They're competitive, and they're in shape, and they can skate.
What about special teams right now? Because it might surprise a lot of people. They look at a 10-2 win and they say, oh man, these guys probably scored 3 or 4 power play goals. 9 of them were even strength. 1 of them was shorthanded. We saw you working on the power play again today, and of course the league numbers are skewed, as you mentioned.
Yeah, they still haven't been corrected, but I'm hoping to get them corrected by tomorrow.
How did you like the special teams play, especially that really quick goal that was scored on the shorthand by Kolatarsi?
So by the time the third period came around, their team was struggling.
Yeah.
And their goaltending was struggling, and they're at home, and I'm not trying to call the dogs off, but I'm not trying to run up the score. You know what I mean? So I put different guys to start the power plays.
Right.
We didn't go with our first unit, and I've been in a position before where we played Florida when Florida was loaded, and I was in Elmira. We had like a whole bunch of guys up, and we were shorthanded, and they were beating us like 4-1, 5-1, and I just told their coach, if their 50 goal scorer comes out of the power play, we're gonna break his arm. So I'm like, you're not going to run up the score in our rink when we're shorthanded. We had loaned one of our leading scorers to their affiliate that weekend, and they came with a full. So my point of all this is that I remember those feelings. So, you know, we had Robertson, Riley in front of the net on the power play, and we were giving different guys looks. And like I said, it's not like I'm not trying to score, but I'm not trying to score. You know what I mean?
You're not trying to twist the dagger.
We're not trying to rub it in there. And if it's at our rink. Or like in Monroe. In Monroe's cases, when they're taking stupid penalties, then I'll run up the score. You know what I mean? Then I'll say, you know, okay, you're going to try to injure, you're going to try to do dumb stuff, then we're going to embarrass you in your own rink. That's fine with me, but that team didn't call for it. They were just having a tough night because they played a lot better the night before, and their goaltending was a lot better.
Last question for me, Coach. You head to Danville to take on the Dashers for 2 games, kind of more towards your home turf. I know you're more northern Illinois, but they struggled against a really good Watertown team in their opening weekend. Are there still improvements that you're looking for or waiting to see? Or are you confident that your team is playing the kind of game you want them to play and that they'll do so again this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty confident with our team. You know, and as we're getting guys used to playing with each other, you know, Alden's another guy that got here late, you know, so that line has been, you know, is not practiced together more than, now they've had a week and a half. So, and then you got Cole out. So I'm anticipating us getting a little better every week, not just sitting there going, okay, we scored. You know, our mentality is we want to score a lot of goals. And when we get a lead, we're not going to sit back. If we get a lead, we're just going to keep going. And that's what I promised the guys, the style of my coaching was when I brought guys in. And guys want to get good stats and help them, you know, for whatever they want to do in the future, whether they want to stay here or they want to go to a different league or they want to go to Europe. Points get you notice, and we want to help guys, you know, get their own individual. As long as their individual, you know, goals are within the team goals, I'm fine. You know, I'm fine with. We want as many guys getting 100 points in the league as we can.
Thanks as always, Coach.
Sure.
Always great to hear from head coach Steve Martinson, and was very happy that he was able to take the time with me and talk about the team's play thus far. And they're playing great in this one in the early going after the first period. They are up 1-0 thanks to a Garrett Milan goal that took only 56 seconds to score. Right now, that's the difference maker. Last game, the Rock Lobsters scored a whole heck of a lot of goals, and we were able to make a little compilation for you. And we hope you enjoy watching all 10 goals from the team's last win at Blue Ridge. Virgili, wrist shot, score! Go to the power play. And it might end up with an opportunity for the Rock Lobsters, and it does. The line. Milan showing his puck handling skills once again, and it's over the goal line. Shot out in front and another goal. Wow, 10 goals in one game, and we are still just 4 1/3 games into the 2024 season. Still a lot more hockey to come for fans of the Athens Rock Lobsters. And don't forget, you still have an opportunity to get your tickets now. And if you cannot make every game, that's no problem. The Athens Rock Lobsters are undefeated, and now is your chance to pick the hottest matchups with our flexible mini plans. Whether it is weekend games, rivalry nights, or themed events, choose what works for you and be a part of the action. For more, visit rocklobstershockey.com/tickets. So we are still in the first intermission here in Danville. We're going to take a break. Coming up after this break is going to be second period action for you between the Athens Rock Lobsters and the Dashers. Rock Lobsters lead 1-0. Lobsters making their way back to the ice with a 1-goal lead over Dashers Hockey Club. Less than a minute to score for Garrett Milan and the Rock Lobsters. He had a helper from Orca Weisblatt. Now Garrett Milan at the top of the FPHL scoring list with 10 points. I want to let you all know that we have now opened up the chat for subscribers after a lot of requests on social media for us to do so. So make sure you hit the subscribe button and you can chat with us here on this broadcast and for the rest of the season. Just one way for you to show your Rock Lobsters loyalty. Another way, if you've not secured your gear yet, now is the time. Head over to shop.rocklobstershockey.com today and gear up to show your Lobsters pride. Do not miss out. Get yours now. Just a couple seconds away from getting started here in the second period. Second period has been a good one for the Rock Lobsters this year. Maybe they can keep up their red-hot play. They are off to a good start. Hoping to secure the victory in this one. Top lines out for both teams. Nick Gulo against Garrett Milan. Two very similar players in both profile and stature, and it's Dashers who win the faceoff. Sent up the right side, intercepted by Riley Robertson at center ice. He tries to kick one back, but it's an opportunity for Gulo, whose shot took a deflection off of the stick of Carter Shinkarik. Shinkarik over to Robertson. Back to the veteran. Shinkarik. A little slight stop on the brakes. Weisblatt to his right. That's Orca Weisblatt. I have to make sure that I am able to tell the distinction now that him and his brother, Ocean, are playing a part of the affair. Garrett Milan just so silky with the puck. Bostet asked for the icing. He's not going to get it. Little wrister from the left side from Johnson gets blocked. And this one's going to be blown down for offsides. Face-off right within the neutral zone. Dashers with a couple early face-off wins in this second period. Once again, I'd like to apologize. Know that I blew up the headphones of some as we see Gason Gallant here using his textbook speed. Little backhand wrister that troubled Rutherford, but the Rock Lobsters still looking for their second goal. Looking for the turnaround shot was Chris Hunt. Put back in from the blue line. Hunt on the puck once again. Sends it behind Rutherford's net. Gason Gallant comes out of that scrum. Virgili behind him. Able to hold off the pressure, but then passes into that pressure. Dashers over the line. Good pass to the left side. Took a kick, then took the shot. Did Nikolai Salov. Jack Bostet has made most high opportunity chances look relatively low percentage. Once again, I'd like to apologize for the volume control on our ad reads earlier. It's been a learning experience. We hope to have that better for you throughout the season as Bostet makes the freeze. Couple minutes through this second period. The Rock Lobsters looking to extend this deficit while the Dashers are attempting to equalize this scoreline. Calmly carried out. Portillo. Alden tries the tight angle shot. Picard touches it back for Garcia. A lot of traffic in front of the net. Ocean Weisblatt doesn't get there in time to keep that puck pinned in. Nico Ryman, 23-year-old D from Spring Lake Park, Minnesota. He's been looking for an opening, just as has every dasher in this game thus far. They're not going to get it. In fact, it's going to be an icing here. Three minutes, 15 seconds passed in this second period. Here comes this top line for the Rock Lobsters. So dangerous. Have already got another goal in this game through Garrett Milan. Shinkarik shifts it over to Milan. He's looking for another one. That one was a narrow miss. Riley Robertson gets toppled over as Malik Johnson tries to look for Orca Weisblatt to his left. Garrett Milan ends up winning the puck, forcing the turnover. Riley Robertson on the near boards. Wrist shot is a miss from the right-hand side, and Garrett Milan has to go and get that ball in their own ice. Malik Johnson. Milan. Beautiful opportunity. Tries to just touch it in between the 5-hole of Parker Rutherford. Oh, and a whiff from Bostad. Wraparound opportunity for the Dashers, but Bostad looked like he was able to make amends on his own mistake. Almost calamitous there from the goalie. And Joe Colatarsi wraps his hand around his helmet as, hey, good job to be able to put a stop in that one. It might have been caused by our own hand, but at the end of the day, we were able to keep the puck out of the net. .50-50 face-off. Colatarsi comes out with it. Trying to shift and shake loose Lester Brown. Murray. His pass gets intercepted, but so does Brown's by Gallant. Nick Gulo, a shifty character standing at 5'6". Clever backhand pass. Philip Virgili might be the fastest skater on the ice. Look at that move from Virgili as he brings it into the slot. He knocks the goalie over. Able to spring the Dashers the other side of the ice, and another save from Bostad in the glove, as Gagnon put a charge into one from the line. Score stays 1-0. A lot of that to do with Jack Bostad, who was playing in his first games for the Rock Lobsters just last weekend. Puck into the corner. Garcia will have a second bite of the cherry. Movali, his D-line partner, his D-pair partner, his pass gets intercepted. Gagnon's shot gets blocked, but he has a chance to recover. Sends a great pass to his right for Nikolai Salov. Feels like there's a lot of that right now as Portillo almost poke checks an opportunity for the Rock Lobsters. Good speed from Salov in his first year of pro hockey. Didn't see that shot from the line. Don't know how much of it Bostad saw either. Right up the center of ice. Bostad kicks it, touches it first time like a soccer ball. Portillo with the icing, and with 14:09 left in the second period, we have an icing call. As you see there, the Rock Lobsters with a 1-0 lead. Garrett Milan's 5th of the year. And let's see if we have a little bit better volume control here on our ad reads. This broadcast of the Athens Rock Lobsters is brought to you by Piedmont Athens Regional. Real change lives here. Akins Ford. Akins Ford is the largest Ford dealership in Georgia. If you're going to trust anyone, why not trust the biggest and the best? Stanfield Air Systems. We've spent the last 50 years fulfilling Athens HVAC needs. First American Bank and Trust. We specialize in you. Terrapin Beer Company. Do the right thing, always. It's also time for our auction of the week. Rock Lobster fans, it's not too late to own a piece of hockey history. Head on over to fans.winwithdash.com. That's fans.winwithdash.com and search the Athens Rock Lobsters. You have the opportunity to win some autographed collectibles that you can't find anywhere else. Don't miss out on your chance to win an autographed training camp t-shirt. That auction ends Sunday at 6 p.m. Offensive zone draw for the Dashers, which they lose. Portillo trying to move the puck with some speed, but it was a little too fast for Alden to handle. Puck stuck right behind Bostet's net. Really good opportunity that Connor Mullins was almost able to pull out in front of him and shoot on Bostet's net. Portillo trying to play playmaker. Garrett Milan has stepped onto the ice. And Parker Rutherford is not going to want to take any chances. He'll freeze the puck. A big thank you to Thomas Enlow. Thank you for keeping us honest on our volume control here. We appreciate you. And thanks for letting us know that we got it right the second time around. Just had an opportunity to start putting some ads into the broadcast. We want to make sure that we don't have to blow out your speakers while we do so. Milan unable to win the faceoff against Brandon Stoichevsky. Stoichevsky, a great start to his year. The 24-year-old from Toronto. Leading playmaker on the team right now with 4 assists. With speed comes Nikolai Salov. Opportunity just missed. Don't think Jack Bostet was there to make the stop there. I think that shot just went wide. Orca Weisblatt with the silky smooth windmill to protect the puck. Garrett Milan with speed over center ice. He has Shinkarik to his left. Unloaded on by Riley Robertson. But here comes the Dashers with numbers in the other direction. But Jack Bostet stands up strong once again. Orca Weisblatt. Milan, slapper, saved by Rutherford. This game is really opening up, feeling like a tennis match right now. Riley Robertson looked for the pass instead of the shot. Joe Colatarsi able to palm it down, but it goes into the neutral zone. Put back into the Athens side of the ice. Very, very calm, cool, collected there by Troy Murray. Chris Hunt able to shake it loose for Gallant. Gallant lets a tight angle wrister into the midsection of Rutherford. You have to applaud the effort thus far of Parker Rutherford, the 26-year-old out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. Was a part of 3 different teams last year. The Elmira River Sharks, Baton Rouge, Zydeco, and Indy Fuel in the ECHL. But out of those 3 teams, he only played 4-1 as we see another shot stopped by him. This time, Colatarsi with the effort. It looks like they've really been trying to aim for the 5-hole. And that's interesting because Rutherford, relatively short for a goaltender. 5'10". Really good on that far-hand side, but the Rock Lobsters almost risked the offside. Dashers really constantly trying to play long, and it's just not working out for them right now. Most of their solid moments of play have come in tenacity defensively that was able to spring them on breakaways. Another tight angle shot, really trying to test Rutherford once again as Kolatarsi. Wristed pass from the near side to the far from Chris Hunt. And now he has to play defense on Justin Browsen. Kicked by Browsen. Into Rock Lobster ice. Rock Lobsters have looked dominant in the season thus far, but you could tell how much more comfortable they get with their passing and with the puck as the season has gone on. The more and more that they get to know each other and find some cohesion within this team. One-on-one opportunity. Lester Brown onto a stronger left hand. Backhanded shot. Another chance for Brown, but his pass gets blocked into the slot. He's looking for Thomas Murphy on the other side of the net. Murphy, a big boy, able to shift it with the backhand, but shaken loose by Ocean Weisblatt. Hard into the corner. And we've got an icing. Busy night for Athens Rock Lobster fans tomorrow. Join the Athens Rock Lobsters tomorrow at Wild Rumpus for your chance to win awesome prizes. The parade kicks off on West Hancock Avenue and winds through downtown Athens, ending with a massive street party on West Washington Street. Find our booth across from Ding Tea by Athens First United Methodist Church. Do not miss the fun. We'll see you there. Alden tries to take the face-off through the legs of Stoichevsky. Alden with a little bit of a sliding soccer challenge into the corner. Dumped in by Thomas Murphy. Bostet handling the puck. Almost didn't go well twice in a row for Bostet. Here comes Picard. Puck left for Alden. Portillo unable to get his blade on the puck. Some speed from Wyzak. Wyzak trying to play make from the corner. Shot from the blue line. Justin Browsen standing at 6'1". Lets loose on a shot. Shinkarik has just been so good this season on both sides of the puck. That one, I think, took a tip off the glove of Bostet. Alden uses the skate to play some defense. Wrister, not what Nico Ryman was looking for. Puck cleared the length of the ice. And it's going to be an icing call. Looks like we've got a stoppage in play, little timeout. It gives us a chance to shout out some more sponsors, including Aero Exterminators, Northeast Distributing Company, Aegis Trust Company, De Palma's Italian Cafe, Leslie Jones Law, sponsor of the Athens Rock Lobster Penalty Kill, Porterhouse Grill, Farm Burger, Fox's Pizza, and 23 Design. Also a reminder to download Fan Saves now and follow the Athens Rock Lobsters to unlock exclusive fan deals throughout the season. We've got another interview for you in the second intermission. Make sure you stay tuned for that. The leading goal scorer in the FPHL, Kason Gallant, had a chance to talk with him on Wednesday afternoon practice. Another offensive zone draw for the Dashers. Let's see what they're able to do with it here. Hunter Alden. going up against Stoichevsky. Stoichevsky wins it, opens up the wrister, blocked out in front on the effort from Browsen. Browsen, the leading goal scorer for this Dasher team, trying to extend that lead. Turnaround pass attempt. Coming out of it is Salov. Save and in the glove of Bostedt. Really, really good game thus far from Bostedt. Jack Bostedt played D3 hockey with College of St. Scholastica. Had his first year pro hockey last year with the Macon Mayhem, playing 6 games in the SPHL. Went 2-4. He already has 2 wins this season for the good guys. Danville with another face-off win. Yosuko Jumanji tries to challenge Bostedt. Interesting story there is Jumanji. Not every day you see an ice hockey player from Japan, as we see a wrister from Malik Johnson stopped by Rutherford. Here's Johnson once again. Tries to flip it out in front for Milan. Milan looking for his second of the night. He has Kolatarsi back. Milan trying to shake free, as is Weisblatt, who gets dispossessed. This first line for the Rock Lobsters playing so quickly, as is Malik Johnson. Tries to get it onto his forehand, but unable to. Riley Robertson back to Shinkarik. Shot on net, but no doing there on that great shift from this first line of the Rock Lobsters. Wrister and a stop from Bostedt on Yegor Kabatiev. Kabatiev, a teammate this year with Jacob Gagnon, was also a teammate last year of Jacob Gagnon for the Fresno Monsters. And that's in the USPHL Premier League. Last year, the Kazakhstani native scored 29 goals and assisted 46 for 75 points in 34 games. Has yet to register a point in the FPHL. Face-off won, but it's all the way back into their own ice for the Dashers. Playing out of your own ice is not easy with the Rock Lobsters. Philip Virgili, the center, playing on the right side of the ice. Takes it into the zone. Backhanded, takes it back forehand. Such quick action on the release for the wrist shot. Riley Robertson sends one of his own. Virgili almost had an opportunity with the backhand. Pins 2 to the board. Chris Hunt gets out in front, and his shot stopped by Rutherford. Rutherford has had to stand on his head thus far, has seen so many shots. Makes another stop out in front. Chris Hunt was waiting on the doorstep. Kaysen Gallant able to get it back for Shinkarik. Shinkarik with a tight angle effort. That one takes a body out in front. Robertson into the corner. Chris Hunt using his body well, comes out of that scrum with it. Almost an own goal. Kaysen Gallant tries to follow up with it, but Parker Rutherford standing tall once again. No one stands taller than Riley Robertson, though, at 6'6". Philip Virgili out in front. Kaysen Gallant looking to extend his scoring streak. Whiff on that from Virgili. Riley Robertson. Really good shift from this second line for the Rock Lobsters. Kaysen Gallant lets that one run. Tired legs on both teams right now. Gallant back to Virgili. Shinkarik. This is exactly where he makes his office. Wrist shot blocked, and he has to make sure he uses his skating speed to get back to that puck. Doesn't want to waste any time, however. Chris Hunt dumps it into the corner for Alden. Dashers finally with a touch of the puck. Trying to make something happen with it, but this Athens defense has been stellar thus far. Brandon Picard, though, gets split by 2 different attackers. Matthew Garcia, Picard, Portillo. Big body of Portillo. Really good stop there from Ocean Weisblatt, who gets absolutely wiped out. Tight angle wrister, this time from Brandon Stoichevsky. Justin Portillo exchanging some words with Justin Browsen. He did not like that hit from Browsen on Ocean Weisblatt. Not the first time that we've seen Justin Portillo get in the mix tonight. Things are starting to heat up on the ice, but you could see staying cool behind the Athens bench is head coach Steve Martinson. Really a couple of good shifts in a row there for the Rock Lobsters. Still a 1-0 lead thanks to Garrett Milan. Jack Bostet has stopped everything in his path thus far. Really good move from Browsen. Orca Weisblatt has some wheels. Get into the offensive ice. Finds Johnson. Wrist shot. Another stop from Rutherford. And we got some dirty play right out in front of the net. And it looks like Malik Johnson's getting pulled for it. That's surely at least got to be a 4-on-4, but it looks like just the visitors will be punished for it, and we head to another Leslie Jones Law penalty kill. Carter Shinkarik wants an explanation as the captain. For those of you who are just joining us with some news today, as Carter Shinkarik arrived on the ice with the C on his chest. So Carter Shinkarik will be the Athens Rock Lobster captain this season. Rock Lobsters still in the lead, 1-0, about to head to the penalty kill. And right now, the penalty kill has not been favorable in the early going for Danville. 0 for 1 tonight. Justin Portillo was sent to the box in the first period. Something that really stood out on the penalty kill the first time around for the Rock Lobsters was how much they unsettled the Dashers. They were really able to get set with their four-man unit and made sure that they got in the way of passes, got in the way of pucks, and really made it difficult for the Dashers to even enter the offensive ice and get set on the power play. So hopefully we see more of that. Once again, this broadcast of the Athens Rock Lobsters is brought to you by Piedmont Athens Regional. Real change lives here. Akins Ford. Akins Ford is the largest Ford dealership in Georgia. If you're going to trust anyone, why not trust the biggest and the best? Stanfield Air Systems. We've spent the last 50 years fulfilling your HVAC needs, Athens. First American Bank and Trust. We specialize in you. And Terrapin Beer Company. Do the right thing, always. So the Dashers set up on this power play, and they'll get the benefit of starting in the Athens Rock Lobster ice. Riley Robertson does well on the faceoff, is brought down to the ice. No call there, and it's eventually cleared out. Rock Lobsters have been doing a great job of making sure that the puck is not even in their ice on the penalty kill. Connor Mullins trying to be a calming presence on the puck. That's what this Dasher team needs on this man advantage. Couple of great plays made by Lester Brown. Tries to take it to the net, and eventually it goes in. A goal for the Dashers comes on the power play. Another bite at the cherry at the man advantage, and the Dashers are able to make the most of it. Blurry shot there, but it's Yegor Kabatiev who wheeled away with the celebration, his first point as a pro. So a somewhat contentious penalty leads to a power play goal for Yegor Kabatiev. Here come the Dashers once again. That went off the pad of Bostet. That goal scored just by causing havoc out in front of the net for the Dashers. Virgili tries to fan one back. Dump in, blocked by Kolatarsi. Kolatarsi has to try and get there once again. A big opportunity for the Dashers. Trying the backhand pass was Salov. Here come the Rock Lobsters with numbers the other way. Kolatarsi, wrist shot. Case and Gallant's effort goes up into the netting. Just want to say how much I've loved the positivity coming out of the chat thus far. And we'll make sure that we'll have this chat turned on for the rest of the season for the Crustacean Nation. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate you tuning in. It's been a blast being able to commentate these games, and we hope that you stick with us all season long. So 3:31 left in the second. I'm going to try and get in touch with my colleague over in Danville to make sure that he's able to change the scoreboard here. But it is indeed 1-1. That one brought down by Justin Movali. Picard back to the man whose teammates know him as Moves. Backhanded into the zone by Portillo. Alden chases. Has two on him. Takes a hit from two different players. Kicks it to Portillo. Portillo up the boards to Movali. Back where it came from. Alden. Loose puck. Finds Garcia. Deflection out in front. Justin Movali gets just enough on it to keep it in the zone, but here come the Dashers. Dashing into their offensive ice, but look at the body feint there from Garcia. Picard on the near side. Loose puck is dealt with by Danville. Really good move there on the windmill from Lester Brown. He's brought down to the ice. Orca Weisblatt. And being brought down is Malik Johnson, and finally the Rock Lobsters will have a power play. Here it comes, Orca Weisblatt, trying to get in the face of those who did his line mate some damage. And finally, for the first time tonight, the Rock Lobsters will be heading to the Paloma Park power play. Message to Niven, who's in our chat. What we're doing here, Niven, is a remote call, so we are using the broadcast that is being sent to us by Danville. So the scoreboard is being controlled by the Danville side. So on our home games, we will have a clock this year. Just want to make sure you're aware of that, and the Rock Lobster fans are aware of that. Carter Shakaric! Is that one over the line? He thinks it is. No goal, waved off by the linesman. Carter Shinkarik with a trademark laser wrister, and this time a penalty on the other side of the ice. Nikolai Salov was able to get loose. Thank you so much, Niven. Thank you for your understanding. But the Rock Lobsters, unfortunately, think they score the goal that puts them up 2-1. And instead, they take a penalty on the other side of the ice, and we'll go to a 4-on-4. So a minute 37 of 4-on-4 before the Dashers will eventually go to the power play. Just a minute 41 left in this second period, and I think the question on every Athens fan's mind is, how did that shot from Carter Shinkarik not go in? The Rock Lobsters believed that they took a lead, but now we go to a 4-on-4. Rock Lobster fans, bring your crew and enjoy the excitement. The Athens Rock Lobsters are soon to make their arrival in the Classic City, and it will be the perfect time for a group outing. Enjoy discounted rates, block seating, and exclusive experiences, perfect for businesses, schools, or youth teams. Rally your group and be part of the action today. For more, visit rocklobstershockey.com/groups. We come back in the middle of a timeout here, both teams discussing the strategy before they go on the 4-on-4. Hopefully the Rock Lobsters will treat this 4-on-4 just like they do the power play. And we might see some aggressive offensive action and a little bit more open ice for the Rock Lobsters to play with. Rock Lobsters had done well on the penalty kill, but the Dashers score a power play goal in this period to make it a 1-1 game. From Yegor Kabatiev, assisted by Lester Brown at the 15:49 mark of the second period. Long distance of time between the second goal in this game and the first. Just 56 seconds into the matchup, Garrett Milan opened it at 1-0 for the Rock Lobsters. So Connor Mullins in the box for tripping. I believe about a minute 37 left on his penalty. Garrett Milan took a penalty for a hook, and that brings us to the 4-on-4. Opportunity here to thank some more great friends of the broadcast. Athens Area Urology. You're in good hands with Athens Area Urology. Plumber Pro, Hospitality South, Athens Coca-Cola Bottling Company, Classic City Flats, the home of the Rock Lobsters, literally, that's their apartments, Harmon Enterprises, and Roto-Rooter. It's also time for the Dash Auction of the Week. Rock Lobster fans, it is not too late to own a piece of hockey history. Head on over to fans.winwithdash.com. That's fans.winwithdash.com and search the Athens Rock Lobsters, or head on over to the Athens Rock Lobster Facebook page to learn how you can bid on autographed collectibles that you can't find anywhere else. Don't miss out on your chance to win an autographed training camp t-shirt. That auction ends at 6 p.m. And a development here on the ice as we have Chris Hunt joining Garrett Milan in the penalty box. So it looks like it's going to be a 4-on-3 for the Dashers. Some better puck movement from the Danville Hockey Club. Gagnon, pass over to his right for the quick release on the wrister. Athens has to be perfect on this three-man unit. Puck skips right past Riley Robertson. Pins his man to the board. Philip Virgili trying to get low to the ice to try and dig that puck out. Behind the net. Back for Gagnon. Opening up to his right is Browsen, the leading scorer for Danville this season. Into the corner. Really quick pass over to the other side, but a miss for Nikolai Salov. Wrister from Gagnon is blocked by Robertson. Tired legs on the ice, spelling trouble for Athens. Shinkarik trying to get his stick in between the puck and the stick of Browsen. Calamity out in front. Puck still loose in the crease, and Virgili able to get it free. Can he do more than that? Shinkarik with a wrister, saved by Rutherford. Rutherford having such a good second period. Now we've got an offside call with just about 12.7 seconds left. The Rock Lobsters with a self-inflicted wound to put them at a 4-on-3 disadvantage, but they've done a good job of depleting the Dashers of chances thus far. And with 5 seconds to go, that'll do it for action in the second period. We see a long-range effort right into the glove of Bostedt. Impressive to be that accurate from that far, but the Dashers were accurate enough in the second period. They were able to even the score thanks to a goal from Yegor Kabatiev at the 15:49 mark of the second period. Garrett Milan had scored early on in the game with 56 seconds to make it 1-0, but the Dashers found their response in the second period and have been able to even this game up at 1 goal apiece going into the third period. The Rock Lobsters have made the most of tight games thus far. We saw that in Game 2 against Monroe. We saw it again in Game 1 versus Blue Ridge. Can they make sure that they go out on top once again as they are on enemy territory until we open up the Aikens Ford Arena on December 6th? Hoping to light up the Aikens Ford Arena is someone who's been lighting up the 2024-25 season thus far, and that's Kaysen Gallant. Had an opportunity to talk to Kaysen about his stellar start to the year. He is leading the FPHL in goals with 6. Let's talk with him about what has made the beginning of his year so special. Matthew Rad, voice of the Rock Lobsters, here with the current FPHL leader in goals, Kaysen Gallant. Kaysen, are you feeling as good as you're looking on the ice right now?
Yeah, I feel good. I mean, I haven't played in a year, last year, so I mean, I'm getting put with some really good players, as in Philip and Chris Hunt, and we got Brandon Picard on that line too. So it's really easy to feel confident when you have those guys backing you up.
I think the thing that is sticking out about your success right now is the kind of spaces, number one, that you're finding yourself in on the ice, and then the chemistry that you've developed very quickly with Philip Virgili. Do you agree with that sentiment, and what else do you think is making you firing on all cylinders?
I do agree with that 100%. Phil's a great player to play with. He's got lots of speed, so it's easy to jump into play with him. I think that coming to practice and preparing properly and having hard practices all week is really kind of what it is. If you want practice or games to be easier, you got to practice hard. So
it's your second pro season in hockey. Your first came last year in Austria. How did this opportunity with the Rock Lobsters arise for you?
So my agent played for Marty a few years back, and so he knew him and wanted to get back into the game. And so he got in contact with me and asked me if I wanted to play. And of course, I couldn't say no, so I took the trip down here, and here we are.
We know how you're getting on when it comes to your play on the ice, but what about off the ice? How are you enjoying your life in Athens so far?
I think it's an amazing town. I think we got some really good setup at the apartments and some really good guys. The weather is great compared to Canada. It's a lot colder up there, so it's technically still summer for me down here, so it's been awesome.
Is there any fact that you think would surprise Athens fans about you? What is something that maybe not a lot of people know about Kason Gallant?
Oh, I don't know. That's a really good question. That's a good question. I don't know.
What about your free time? When you're not playing hockey, how are you spending your time?
Oh, I love to golf in the summertime. I'm trying to get out a little bit in here in Athens. There's some pretty nice courses I've heard.
You're a pure hockey guy, eh?
Yeah, I love hockey. I used to skateboard competitively, actually.
Really?
So when I was about 12 to 16 years old, I was competitively skateboarding.
Favorite trick that you'd like to pull out?
I love the kickflip, just something basic.
There you go. So many great guys on this team. Who have you been getting along with? Who do you feel you are the closest with on this team?
Probably I would say like Garcia and Rosie, like Rosenzweig, just because I live with the two guys. Orca's another one that I've gotten really close with just from being from Calgary as well. And then all the other guys have been great too. So there's not really anyone that I haven't been close with. Obviously you get to grow with each other as the year goes on, but no, it's been good. Kind
of where you buck the trend compared to the rest of the team is this is a very veteran, experienced team, and you're still kind of taking your first steps in pro hockey. Where do you see your growth, and what kind of steps do you want to take this year?
I'm just hoping to, get my legs under me like I am and keep playing well for this team and try and create a winning culture here in Athens and, have a good program and have people look at this program and go, you know what, they built something good here and, maybe next year there's something I can move up in and, if I can keep getting better and better.
Matty and Rad, Kason Gallant, looking forward to you scoring more goals this weekend,
awesome.
my friend.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, team.
Very, very good to talk to Kason Gallant. Such a nice guy. As a matter of fact, he was able to save my glasses for me. I left them on the bus after the trip to Monroe. So very, very nice guy. Was able to save a pair of specs for me. We're going to take a quick break here. Right now we are in a second intermission, 1-1 scoreline after the Dashers were able to find an answer in the second period. Stick with us here on the Athens Rock Lobster Network. here live in the David S. Palmer Arena in Danville, Illinois. Coming at you from the second intermission, where we have an even scoreline at 1 apiece. Less than a minute was played in this matchup before Garrett Milan found the opener to make it 1-0. A long time later, with just about 4 minutes, 11 seconds to go in this second, Yegor Kabatiev was able to put one through on the power play. We have some comments in the chat about our player interviews, and want to put out the question to the Rock Lobster fans. Who do you want to see interviewed on our intermission interview segment this year? We're curious what you have to say. We want to be able to have you guys learn about the players you love, see what they're doing on the ice, and then learn more about them. These guys are stars in the making, and we love to hear what they have to say about being part of the Classic City. Once again, we'd like to remind you to go ahead and secure your season tickets. With the Athens Rock Lobsters off to an undefeated start, now is the time to lock in your loyalty. Secure your season tickets and save big compared to single game prices. Plus, enjoy exclusive benefits like early entry and meet and greets with the team. Do not miss a moment. Get your season ticket today. For more, visit rocklobstershockey.com/tickets. So we'll send you back to commercial in the second intermission. Rock Lobsters have an even score with the Dashers at 1 apiece. Back here live from the David S. Palmer Arena in Danville, Illinois. An even scoreline at 1 goal apiece between the Dashers and the Rock Lobsters. Opportunity here to kind of read through the chat here. Olivia B. says interviews are great. Thank you so much, Olivia. Turner Up Media, and we'd like to give a special thank you to Turner Up Media. With the Dasher broadcast not pointing out when power plays and penalty kills are happening, we have been putting up graphics that say Danville power play or Athens power play. Also, our graphics that say first intermission, second intermission, we'll be right back. All of those have been supplied to us by Turner Up Media, and it's really just out of the graciousness of that organization's heart. So a big thank you to Turner Up Media. We really appreciate their kindness, their support, have made the start to this season easier thanks to their hard work. Taking a look at the rest of the chat, Thomas Endless says, my other car is a Zamboni, and I'm just curious what your gas mileage is like on that. Michael Struess says, Clawshank Redemption is the best beer for Rock Lobster games. And that's a great point, Michael Struess, and the place where you can get a delicious cold Clawshank Redemption is Terrapin Beer Company. And we'd like to thank Terrapin Beer Company for sponsoring our first watch party a couple weeks ago as we took on Monroe. So why don't you head on over to Terrapin Taproom at 265 Newton Bridge Road in Athens, Georgia for merchandise giveaways, Hockey 101, exclusive fan deals for watch parties all season long. And, of course, don't forget to get an ice-cold glass of Clawshank Redemption. We should just be a couple minutes away from third period action, and we've got an exciting third period to go because we need a goal, we need a winner, or we might be heading back to overtime just like we did in Game 1 against Blue Ridge. So stay tuned with us here. We go back to commercial. Third period action coming up after this break. Rock Lobsters seconds away from making their return to the ice. Believe the third period will start with the 4-on-3. And before too long, that will turn into a 5-on-3 for the Dashers. So work to do in the third period. But we saw this against Blue Ridge as well for the Rock Lobsters. We're able to weather the storm on special teams. Another opportunity to tell you that this broadcast of the Athens Rock Lobsters is brought to you by Piedmont Athens Regional. Real change lives here. Akins Ford. Akins Ford is the largest Ford dealership in Georgia. If you're going to trust anyone, why not trust the biggest and the best? Stanfield Air Systems. We've spent the last 50 years fulfilling Athens' HVAC needs. First American Bank and Trust. We specialize in you. And Terrapin Beer Company. Do the right thing always, especially if that right thing means going to the Terrapin Tap Room and getting an ice-cold Clawshank Redemption. Chat is lighting up right now. Thomas Enlow says 13.22 pounds LPG per hour. What is that, lobsters per game? What also makes it exciting is the home opener is near my birthday, so it definitely brings extra excitement for that. Happy early birthday, CJ. A lot of excitement about the upcoming theme nights. And I'm right there with you. I'm hoping that I can get in on some of the giveaways, despite the fact that I'll be up in the booth. Michael Struess, a resounding claws up, as does Joe Robb. J.C. Patel with some kind words about the broadcast. Turner up with a claws up emoji style, and Rock Lobsters hoping to turn it up in the third period. Just about set before the start of this. So the the Danville penalty box is currently empty. So it looks like we will be starting on the 5-on-3. And Joe Robb is mentioning the Dash auction. So that feels like a good opportunity to bring up the auction of the week. Rock Lobster fans, it's not too late to own a piece of hockey history. Head on over to fans.winwithdash.com and search the Athens Rock Lobsters. It's your chance to win an autographed training camp t-shirt. That auction ends Sunday at 6 p.m. Here come the Dashers, dashing with a little bit of speed over the neutral zone. On to his left is Lester Brown, who ends up losing out. Rock Lobsters are able to clear. Rock Lobsters, through Chris Hunt, are able to win the puck out. And it looks like Athens is back to even strength. That puck deflects off the near glass. Nikolai Salov with a backhand flip. Good pass right in front of Bosted's net. Lester Brown, the rare Dutch-American hockey player, with a great opportunity at the start of this third period. Brown has spent the last few years playing pro in Europe, namely his native Netherlands and Belgium. Virgili, back to Murray. who splits the ice with a pass up to Kaysen Gallant. Little hip check from Virgili on Lester Brown. Wipe out right in center ice. Malik Johnson quickly back up to his feet. Has a chance to tip the puck in. I guess he did not get any contact to that because a whistle and a hand up from the referee indicates the icing. Joe Robb says, thank you for turning on chat. You know, I went back and forth in my mind on whether we should turn on chat. Sometimes that can be a dangerous choice to make. But you guys have really made me clear in my decision that this was the right choice to make, to turn the chat on. Love talking to you Rock Lobster fans and looking forward to doing so for the rest of the year. Someone is being left in pain on the ice. Rock Lobsters with no mercy trying to make the most of it. Orca Weisblatt onto his stronger forehand. Wrists one past the net of Rutherford. Puck left from Murray. Sees a lot of pressure. Orca Weisblatt sees the pressure, deals with it, tries to flip it back, and ends up losing out on the puck. Dumped into the corner. Zachary DeMars dances in behind the Rock Lobster net. Faked on the wrister. Wyzak with a great pass into the slot. Orca Weisblatt is able wisely to flip it over to a teammate. Picard with a wrister. Glove save, Parker Rutherford. This is a Danville team that has seen so many shots in their opening 3 games. The Dashers let up a lot of shots in the 2 games versus Watertown. Get this, a total of 97 through their opening weekend, 48 in Game 1 against the Wolves and 49 in Game 2. Rutherford has seen a lot of shots tonight as well, but he has made the save on all but one. So the early goal from Milan in the first period has given Athens the early lead, but Danville found the answer in the second. Shinkarik from distance misses high. Portillo for Alden. Alden looking for Picard. He's setting up office behind Rutherford's net. Shinkarik thought he had taken the lead earlier on this game with a laser of a wrist shot. Finds a good pass to Picard, who can't handle it. Good step up there from Robertson. Flipped up high into the air. Palmed down by Shinkarik. Shinkarik gets dispossessed. Turnover forced by Nikolai Salov. Flipped out in front. Tried the quick backhand. Did Brandon Stoichevsky. Turnaround wrister. No good. Another save from Bostet. And a dump and a line change from the Rock Lobsters. Puck mishandled on the Athens blue line by the Dashers. Chris Hunt has his foot on the puck. Movali tries to shin that one down. Could cause problems. Saucer pass was deflected on the slide by the Athens defense. Kaysen Gallant, his scoring streak at stake. Almost turns playmaker there for Virgili. Slapper. Virgili, almost an open net. Not sure if Rutherford made the save or if that one is just a miss from the Swede. Better here from the Rock Lobsters, and the whistle blown on the icing. Joe Robb says he's a season ticket holder, and you have the opportunity to join him if you go to rocklobstershockey.com/tickets. We want to see a full Aikens Ford Arena. Milan, face-off win back to Shinkarik, the top 5 out for the Rock Lobsters. Weisblatt pirouettes around, gets pinned to the boards. Dashers shake that puck loose, but it's beneficial for the Rock Lobsters. Puck blocked out in front by Gagnon on the shot from Shinkarik. Shanks pass to the right for Robertson. Orca Weisblatt, if he was able to shoot that first time, had a wide open net. Malik Johnson behind the cage gets taken down, and it's flipped out and into the Danville bench. Parker Rutherford has been standing on his head in the early going. Tried looking at the stats that are being kept on federalhockey.com. Don't believe they're accurate, as it says that the shots are Athens 6, Danville 9. Don't think that could be the case. Scrum, kind of a dog pile on the face-off. Shinkarik with another wrister. This one falls right out in front of Rutherford. Shinksy over to the right for Robertson once again. He tries a wrister of his own, and it wheels around the rink. Picard gets rocked into the boards by Wyzak. Murray back for Kolatarsi. Dumped in, Alden to chase. Getting there first is Wyzak. Sent the length of the ice. No icing, says the referee. Troy Murray with a great piece of skill, able to get himself out of a sticky situation. Kolatarsi, his D-man partner, to Virgili. They've been trying a lot of tight angle stuff on the goalie Rutherford. He's dealt with all of it. Kolatarsi. Up the boards for Gallant. Skips past him. Wyzak. Up the left side. Lofted into the air. Past Stoychevsky, and he ends up getting a 1-on-0 opportunity saved by Bostet. Not the first time we've seen that tonight. Bostet making the big save on the breakaway. Puck loose out in front of the net, and they finally have their goal. After a little bit of sustained pressure from the Dashers, they take the lead in the third period to make it Dashers 2, Rock Lobsters 1. Now work to do for Athens, as they find themselves down 2-1 in the third period. Had started this third extremely well, but Danville and Parker Rutherford, Princely, were able to weather the storm. And we've got a fight at center ice. Malik Johnson going up against Lester Brown, and the double takedown ends up with a couple of bodies right on the Danville logo. That one didn't last long. Malik Johnson with a shake of the head, trying to fire his team up. The first Rock Lobster to drop the clause this year that's not named Justin Portillo. Malik Johnson could sense that this team needs to be fired up with good reason. Now down 2-1 late in this game. So we go to the timeout. Rock Lobsters trying to draw something up here now that they are down late on in this game. Hasn't happened much this season. Of course, they were able to score in the third period in Game 1 against Blue Ridge to force a game into overtime. And you think with the kind of timing that's left in this third period, that's probably what we're dealing with here as well. Rock Lobsters have just been unable to trouble Parker Rutherford. You say that. They've done a great job at pelting the 26-year-old goalie, but he's just done a great job at dealing with it. I think the shots have been updated, at least through the first two periods. So through the first two periods, the Athens Rock Lobsters had the shot advantage at 27-23. Offensive zone draw for the Rock Lobsters. Riley Robertson gets his body on the boards. Brandon Picard takes the puck back in. That's offside. A couple of quick stoppages back-to-back as the Rock Lobsters attempt to swing this momentum back into their favor. With Malik Johnson in the box for the fight, Brandon Picard has taken his spot on the left wing. And he makes the interception on that pass there, but the Dashers are able to retain possession. Shinkarik leaves the puck for Weisblatt. Bank pass for Picard. Sends it back to the right. Goes past Weisblatt. The Athens captain, Shinkarik, to Robertson, to Milan. Turns on the burners. Miscue of a pass, so Orca Weisblatt into his zone from neutral ice. Flips it up for Picard. Back to the other side for Murray. Robertson. Good puck handling from him. 6'6" man. Dancing like silk. Shot right in front of the net of Rutherford from Picard. Milan able to get it for Gallant, who ends up losing out on it. Garcia able to whistle one in. It rings around the rosy just a bit too quick, and Garcia has to play some D after he tried to play some offense. Sends the puck in. And they're going to call an icing here after Virgili looked close to getting there. Could the dream start for the Athens Rock Lobsters be coming to an end here in Danville? Still 11 minutes and 55 seconds left in the third. Plenty of time to find at least a leveler in this one. Virgili wins the faceoff. Really good skills from Garcia. Body check. Up to neutral ice. Jacob Gagnon sends it back in. And he sends it right at Bostet. Unloaded on the slapper. Ricky Regala. Poke check. Up the right boards. Tape-to-tape pass. Chris Hunt into the zone, and Brandon Stoichevsky able to take it the other way. Rister wide of the mark. Back to the blue line. Rister deflection out in front. Save from Bostet. Kabatiev looking for his second of the game. Kabatiev. Kason Gallant trying to spring forward. He'll go off for the change. Hunter Alden leaves something on Ricky Regala. Whistle's been blown. See what this third line looks like now. It looks like Troy Murray is being deployed as a forward here. Maybe not. Maybe that's just how this faceoff is set up. Portillo Loses out on the puck. Danville, who really didn't have any fluidity offensively in the first period. And now the Rock Lobsters have lost their liquid hockey form. Why no play-by-play anymore? Says Brandon likes hockey. Can the chat confirm? Can you guys hear me? Can you not hear me? Going to keep on commentating, checking the chat. Orca Weisblatt with a wrister, not knowing where that one is Parker Rutherford. Puck dribbles in behind the net, cleared a long ways away. And the Dashers will take the icing. Okay, thank you, Turner Up Media. Thank you, Joe Rob. Brandon, I hope... Okay, good. Brandon can hear us now. Good to hear. Orca Weisblatt brought down. No call from the referee. Shinkarik gets the pass back from him. He's been looking for that shot. That one right into the midsection of Garrett Milan, and he's hurting from that one. Shinkarik with a push check. Orca Weisblatt saying, what am I supposed to do here? As Thomas Murphy got wrapped up in his stick. 2-on-2. Virgili. Picard. Back to Virgili. Just missing the net. Rock Lobsters come so close once again. Robertson back to Virgili. That puck runs behind the Swede. And an opportunity for the Dashers to pop that balloon and relieve some of that pressure. They're only going to be able to do so for so long, though, as they ice the puck with tired legs defensively. The Rock Lobsters with some stellar chances back-to-back there. But Parker Rutherford, along with this Dasher defense, has been able to keep the floodgates intact thus far. Tomorrow, a big night for the Athens Rock Lobsters. You can join us tomorrow at Wild Rumpus for your chance to win awesome prizes. The parade kicks off on West Hancock Avenue and winds through downtown Athens, ending with a massive street party on West Washington Street. Find our booth across from Ding T by Athens First United Methodist Church. Do not miss the fun. We'll see you there. And if you're not there, you better be at home, and you better be watching us play the Dashers tomorrow night at 8:05. The Dashers are able to call the timeout, relieve some pressure after some tired legs were left on the ice after the icing. This line of Philip Virgili, Kaysen Gallant, and Chris Hunt. Chris Hunt now on the second line after Picard got sent to the first on the fighting penalty from Malik Johnson. Asking for a delay of game call here. Rock Lobsters are hoping that they can be sent to a man advantage, and it looks like they indeed will be. Connor Mullins joins Lester Brown, who's in there for the fight against Malik Johnson. And we go to the Paloma Park power play for the second time tonight. It didn't last long the first time around. Picard taking the draw, able to kick it for Weisblatt. Virgili, who's at the blue line. Weisblatt takes a first-time pass. Milan able just to find Virgili. Virgili thinks about the shot. Back over to the right for Milan, who can't get a handle of that pass. Able to settle it down, though. Shinkarik, Virgili, back to Shinkarik, back to Milan. A slap shot is over the bar, and Shinkarik has to go retrieve it from Bostet. Milan, so good at using his speed to enter into the zone. Virgili. Shinkarik with the shot. Weisblatt out in front. Second bite of the cherry, but the Rock Lobsters unable to bury it again. That one skips out over the pad of Rutherford. Virgili back to Shinkarik. Another shot from him, just wide as Brandon Picard from the corner finds Virgili. Milan into the slot, and the Dashers are going to be able to get this puck out. Step on the brakes from Nikolai Salov as they shave crucial seconds off of this man advantage. Bostet plays the puck, wheels around, but there is Nick Gulo. Rock Lobsters are able to shake that puck loose. Gallant from the right. Enters. Still Gallant. Turns around, tries to backhand it. Trying to save the puck. Kolatarsi makes a step up. Gallant into the corner. Chris Hunt. Hunt able to protect the puck, but only for so long as Nico Ryman sends it long. Troy Murray. Power play over for the Rock Lobsters. Puck bouncing around like a pinball. No doubt who the first star will be for the Dashers if this scoreline remains. It's been a contentious one here between these two teams. We've already seen the fight between Lester Brown and Malik Johnson. As we were saying before, it's pretty clear who the first star will be in this game if the Dashers are able to secure the victory, and I think that's going to be Parker Rutherford, who has been the levy today. Sometimes the levee breaks, however, and that'll be exactly what the Rock Lobsters hope happens in the second half of this third period. Both Malik Johnson and Lester Brown return to their benches. Malik Johnson actually notices that his line is on the ice. Perhaps Johnson can be the catalyst here. He tried to shift the energy, throwing down the gloves. Can he potentially score the equalizer? Johnson, Weisblatt. Johnson trying to get his body in between the puck and the defender. Milan saw the poke check from Rutherford. Made the read well, but Rutherford was able to get that puck out of the route of the player coach. Johnson up the ice, dumps it in. No one will change, though, or no one will chase. Lines change. How much time left? It's about 6.5 minutes left in this third period, I believe. And a big opportunity. Brandon Stoichevsky slams on the brakes. A little bit of hold-up play, honestly. There's a little bit of creation there from Stoichevsky to find Regala. Gallant just missing out on the puck. Whiffing on is Kabatyev, who scored to make it 1-1 in the second. Shinkarik, left side for Alden. Virgili has been the playmaker for this Rock Lobster team this season. Coming off a 1-goal, 5-assist weekend last weekend against Blue Ridge. Garcia fighting so hard, as this Rock Lobster team is for everything right now. Trying to connect the dots. It's just not happening right now. And the whistle will blow for offsides. We haven't seen the clock of the scoreboard in quite some time. If it's to be believed on the federalhockey.com website, we are at the 15:06 mark of the third period, meaning that there would be 4 minutes and 54 seconds left. CJ Foster, thank you for the comment. So we are sending you the feed straight from Danville. So we are using the Danville YouTube page for you to be able to watch this stream. This is being called remotely from Georgia. Unfortunately, no clock put on their broadcast. And I'm only able to really tell how much time has left whenever I get a glimpse of the scoreboard through the same view that you guys are getting. Face off right in front of the Dasher hockey bench. Murray. Puck rescued by the Dashers. Brought down by Murray. Chris Hunt into the corner for Picard. Picard trying to shift that left foot to his right. Murray in a foot race with a man from Japan, Yosuke Jamanji. Hunt tips it in. Cluster behind Rutherford's net. Murray tries to make the step up. Puck sent long, and it's going to be another icing. The scoreline stands. It'll be the first time this year that the Rock Lobsters have been kept to just one goal in a game. It'll be among a bunch of other firsts. Of course, the first time that the Rock Lobsters have dropped a game this year. Shinkarik trying to get in front of Jumanji, dumped in. Bostet gets just a touch to it. 3 minutes, 50 seconds to go. Confirmation there on how much time is left in this game. 3 minutes, 50 seconds, that last time we got a glimpse at the clock. Jensen Bayer gets there first. Roadblock met there for Orca Weisblatt. He loses out on the puck. Robertson sends it back in. Shinkarik, wrister, behind the net. Milan, able to get the puck to Robertson. Milan back to Johnson. Weisblatt with the slapper, just wide. Lot of speed for Lester Brown. But Jensen Bayer's efforts blocked by a body in front of the shot. Malik Johnson drops it for Milan. Pad save from Rutherford. Milan to the left of the net. His pass just misses Gallant. A lot of great opportunities for the Rock Lobsters, but that light at the end of the tunnel is getting dimmer and dimmer. Gallant able to settle that puck. No interference called there. Poke check. Doesn't shake it free for the Rock Lobsters. Ocean Weisblatt. Puck sent up the right side of the boards. Virgili has Alden to his left. Chaos out in front of the goal. Long distance shot. Got blocked out in front. Puck can't be progressed on the right side. Time continues to run out for the visitors. Alden over the line. To his right was Johnson, who would have had a clear shot on goal. And we've got another icing, which the Rock Lobsters have not been able to really do anything with in this game. According to federalhockey.com, believe there is a minute 36 left in this game. If it's going to come, it has to come now for the Rock Lobsters. Behind the net. Back for Shinkarik. Up the left side. Milan. Shinkarik. Kolatarsi. Shot on goal. Went between the legs of Malik Johnson. Believe it went wide. Shinkarik. Milan. Kolatarsi. Weisblatt. Tries a tight angle shot. It gets blocked. Back to Shinkarik. And a puck goes into the net that will stop the play dead. .56 seconds left. 56 seconds will be all that is left in this game for the Rock Lobsters. And Steve Martinson will call a timeout. A reminder that this game has been brought to you by Piedmont Athens Regional. Real change lives here. Aikens Ford is the largest Ford dealership in Georgia. If you're going to trust anyone, why not trust the biggest and trust the best? Stanfield Air Systems, we've spent the last 50 years fulfilling Athens' HVAC needs. First American Bank and Trust, we specialize in you. Last but certainly not least, Terrapin Beer Company, do the right thing, always. It is down to crunch time. 56 seconds left to go. They have sent out all the big guns. Milan battling for the faceoff. Bats it back to Virgili, who gets it into the corner. Malik Johnson makes a step up. Orca Weisblatt. Pass goes past Milan, but Shinkarik with a shot. Just about 30 seconds left. Another chance for a clearance for Danville. They might get more than that here. And into the empty net it goes. The Dashers have surely secured their victory in their return to Danville and their return to the FPHL. Will be the first win for the Dashers this year. It'll come in regulation, so they'll move to 3 points on the year through their first 3 games. Rock Lobsters will stay at 11 points on the regulation loss. We'll go to 4-1. Trying to bat it out of midair is Chris Hunt on the pass from Alden. A lot of battle from this Rock Lobster team tonight, as the last few seconds come off of the scoreboard and the fans of the David S. Palmer Arena are brought to their feet. Well, disappointment tastes bitter when you're tasting it for the very first time, but the Rock Lobsters showed a lot of fight against a Danville team that felt motivated to make amends after a disappointing opening weekend came into their home rink and were able to eke out the win against the Rock Lobsters. The empty netter ended up being the crushing blow at the end. Garrett Milan made Rock Lobster fans believe it was going to be another exhilarating night as he scored in the first 56 seconds to make it 1-0 Athens. But then, late in the second period, Yegor Karbatiev was able to tie the game up on the power play and really just took the puck to the net and eventually went over the goal line to make it 1-1. Then, Zachary DeMars, in the opening quarter of the third period, was able to make it 2-1 for the Dashers. Rock Lobsters had so many opportunities, but Parker Rutherford made life difficult for the Rock Lobsters constantly and made so many crucial saves in so many areas that you thought he was sure to make stops. Really, when you thought he wasn't going to make stops is when he made his most amazing saves of the night. And the stream for Danville has ended as that team will celebrate their first win of the season. A couple quick things to cover for the Piedmont Athens Regional Postgame Show, including our 3 stars of the night. Our third star will be Garrett Milan. Once again, an early goal for him has been so good, using his speed at the early going of games. His 5th goal of the year gave the Rock Lobster fans some good vibes early on. Second star of the night will go to Yegor Karbatiev, who gave his team a lot of energy as he scored the equalizer and really set the tone going forward for the Dashers to end up winning the game. And the first star of the night goes to Parker Rutherford, who time and time again made crucial saves in this game to make sure that the Dashers had their first victory of the season. But we're not done in Danville just yet. Make sure you stay tuned this weekend as the Athens Rock Lobsters return to the David S. Palmer Arena tomorrow night at 8:05 p.m. as they look for revenge after taking their first loss of 2024. Rock Lobsters hoping to stay atop the division and come out with another win on the weekend. So for all of you that chatted with us all night, thank you for doing so, and thank you for tuning in. This is Mattine Rad saying so long on this remote call as we covered this game between Dashers Hockey and the Athens Rock Lobsters, which the team from Danville wins 3-1. We'll see you tomorrow.